Picking up the cost of free firewood. Is it worth it? Here we go. Today is a cold, blustery day. We are at the end of May. It's almost June here, and it is 45 degrees this morning. We have about 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's supposed to increase to 40, and with the wind chill, they say it's about 30 degrees, and it's cold out here. I have many layers on. We're almost into June. This is ridiculous, but for working, it's awesome. It's a good day to be out here. So what I have behind me here is a pile of silver maple that we got from my brother Ken's son Jed's place, which is that way about 4 or 5 miles. He lives pretty close. They had a massive tree. You probably saw the video. We took that down a few days ago, and this is some of the wood that was left from it because it was a very big tree. I don't know how many cords were in the tree, probably 3 full cords, maybe 4. I don't know. It was a lot of wood. His neighbor guy took about a cord, and then one of his buddies took, I guess, half of a cord, something like that. And then the rest of it came here. So you can see this pile right here that was dumped. This was the first pile they dumped. It's all going to be nice firewood. And then the trailer, you can see it right over there. That is full of big, huge chunks that we, chiseled down and stuff. I was there for one day helping cut, move stuff, ripping logs, all that kind of stuff. There was a bunch of guys. It was a great day. Had a good time and everything. But what I want to talk about today is free. Is it really free? Because I know a lot of you have made comments on the channel in the past that free really isn't free, and it isn't. There's a lot of work involved in free. Not just work, but time. And if I would have stayed here in the wood yard processing some of the logs you see in the background over there that I got in, I could have processed in that day probably 3 loads. So that would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 full cords that I could have processed by myself easily, because the wood is right there. Load it with the tractor onto the processor, process it, goes into the trailer, goes into the elevator and up and into the bin. And I could have did that by myself in a day. And yeah, I had to pay for the wood. I pay $105, I think, a cord is what I paid for that maple over there. It's a hard maple. So that would have cost me $400 and some for those 4 cords that I would have gotten done. And I would have had wood done. But this free stuff, I spent a day there. Now I'm going to spend another probably full day cutting this up, splitting it, getting into the bin. So it's another full day. So that's 2 full days into this free wood. So free is not really free. So for those of you that think, oh, it's just great, I found this free wood. Well, free wood usually involves a lot of time, a lot of labor. Now, if you've got free time and you want to work and you don't want to put any money out, it's fantastic. If you're cutting wood just for yourself, where you just want to accumulate, stock for the next year, the year after, and you want to just keep increasing your wood hoarding skills, that's a good thing. And it's good wood. I mean, it's not excellent wood, but it's going to be good campfire wood. And a lot of people like maple of any kind because it burns really nice. So if you've got someone that wants to give you free wood, it's not necessarily free unless the wood is all cut, all split, dried, they bring it to you, and then they stack it for you. That would be free wood if they actually do all the work, because the time you put into it is really what you're paying for. It's your time and your effort. And like I said, that's perfectly fine if you're cutting for yourself. But if you're cutting to sell, yeah, you're gonna save a few bucks, and it's a good way to get some wood. Now in this area is where we usually dump all of our tree service wood, the stuff that comes in. So that's why this is dumped here. There's a pile right back there that's been there like for about a year now. I got through a lot of this already. A lot of the beech and oak that was in here, I got that cut and split. A lot of it is into the bin, but it took a lot of time and effort and a lot of work on my part to do that. And yep, I'm gonna make some money from it. But as far as productivity and getting a lot done in a short amount of time, free is not all that it's cracked up to be. I find in life that usually free, you get what you pay for. Usually. Free is good sometimes. We like to call it the Bob Barker price. Free, and that's good. But there's also a lot of things that go along with free. And time and effort and work is usually the reason why it's free. I have people quite often that when I deliver wood will say to me, hey, Chris, I got this tree in the backyard. Would you like it? you can have it. You can take it all. You can have it for free. And you know why they're saying that? It's because they had a tree service come to their house, look at the tree, and the tree service people went, well, let's see, you got power lines here, you got a garage there, there's a fence here, there's a house here, there's another house here. We're gonna have to use a crane to go in there, or a climber go up in there and limb it all out, and then we're gonna have to pick it up with a crane, or we're gonna have to drop it in certain spots, and then we have to bring in a team of guys or several guys that are gonna have to take in mini skid steers around the house to get to it, and then pick it out piece by piece, bring it to the front, and either chip it and haul it away. And if it's a big tree, you're looking at easily $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. I've seen big trees cost as much as $5,000 because of where they are, how big they are, and how difficult they are. And I have people that I will deliver wood to, and they'll say, oh, you can have it for free. And what they're trying to do is to save some money and have me do all the work. And number one, I don't want that much work. Number two, I don't have insurance. I don't want to be cutting around where it's dangerous. I will take free trees if they're in the open, no buildings around, easy to drop, easy to get to, that kind of stuff. Then I will do it. I used to do a lot of that. That's how I got most of my wood when I started my business. And it's a good way for you to start your business too, is get a lot of free stuff. It's great. And if you're not doing it full time, you can pick away at it over time, cut a little bit, haul a little bit, come back a couple days, maybe do it again, that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that at all. I like the tree service wood when it just comes to me. It just is brought here. So again, I had a full day's work on this, and I'm gonna have another full day's work on this to get it in the bin, so that's 2 full days. And if I had to guess, this is maybe a full cord, and there's probably a full cord in the trailer there. So 2 full cords. So I've got about somewhere around $700 worth of wood for 2 full days of work. That's not terrible. I like to make 300 bucks a day, something like that. I figure in an 8 to 10 hour day, I got to make at least 300 bucks to make it worth my while. And even then, it's not great. I prefer to make $50 to $60 an hour. $80 an hour is even better. And people say, oh, $80 an hour, that's, holy smokes, that's really good money. But you don't realize I've got a lot of costs that go into that. I've got equipment, I got fuel, I've got trucks, I got tractors, trailers, chainsaws. All that stuff's got to be paid for. My truck insurance, the truck fuel, everything that goes into running a business, everything that goes into doing all this production, it doesn't just happen. I got health insurance I pay myself. I've got liability insurance. I've got an umbrella policy to cover for my truck when I do deliveries. So I've got a lot of stuff that goes into producing wood, cost, overhead, that a lot of people don't consider. They don't realize that someone's got to pay for all that stuff, and it's you. Well, it's me actually in this case. So free isn't necessarily free. So that's my rant for the day. And right now we've got a delivery to do. We're gonna go load some wood. So here's the wood. Like I said, a bunch of silver maple, nice size stuff. You can see here, this stuff will make real nice firewood. And I'll cut all of this by hand and then just split it. We'll probably use the vertical splitter or the horizontal Wolf Ridge 17 RS. You can see the wood in here. If you look, there's a bunch of chunks in here. Let's go around to the other side. You can see what's in here. So this has got to be dumped out here yet. So lots of chunks. You can see there's a lot of burnt wood in here too. A lot of stuff that I can't even make firewood of. It's just been chiseled down so they can handle it. There's cookies in here. I mean, there's a little bit of everything you can see in here. All kinds of wood, odd sizes, short, medium, small. And that's the thing about tree service, where a lot of people don't realize too. With tree service stuff, you're going to get a lot of odd sizes. You're going to get a lot of stuff that's 19, 20 inches. You're going to get a lot of stuff that's 12, 11, 10 inches. You're going to get a lot of odd end cuts. You're going to get V's and steel cuts that are crooked cut. You're going to get it all because that's what they do. They don't care. Their job is to get the tree on the ground and get it out of there. That's their job, and I don't blame them. That's just the way it is. So when it comes to tree service wood, you're going to get a lot of stuff like this. This is stuff that Bert and Adam got from a tree job. I mean, all the way down to limb wood like this. Stuff this size. Here's an odd one here. You can see this one right here is probably 20 inches, 23 inches, something like that. Odd stuff like this. Just all different sizes. So not real pretty wood. And then tree service stuff like this too. This is another pile of tree service wood we got here. So here is a chunk of oak, white oak. There's a piece of cherry right there. Here's some locust here and here and here. You can see odd stuff like this. More tree service stuff in the back here. You can see you get these nasty, ugly schmugglies. butt cuts like this. So you can make good wood out of this, but it requires a lot of work. So free isn't necessarily free. So you can see the ugliness to this piece here, how it's got all kinds of goodies going on. Now when I buy wood, look at the prettiness there. Look at this wood, isn't this great? Even Mr. Cat likes it. Nice size stuff. I get the size I want, I get the kind I want. They're straight logs for the most part. Once in a while, you will get a snake in there, but most of it is really good stuff. You can see by the variety of sizes, everything from small little 4 inches all the way up to, I don't know, 16, 18 inches, something like that. So you get much better wood when you pay for it. And for me, efficiency-wise, it's way better to buy wood. It just is. I make more money per hour processing wood than I do working over here in a nasty pile trying to come up with good stuff. So like chunks like this. I mean, this is gonna be boiler wood here. Stuff that I really can't sell, so you're gonna get a variety. Plus you'll get, there's spruce here, there's ash in here, there's soft maple, there's silver maple. Over there, there's soft maple and ash, and then all this over here is silver maple. So with the free stuff, you get what you get. Sometimes you get branches and leaves and chips and bark and all the stuff they want to just get rid of. And then you have to take care of it. So there's that. Let's go load some wood. All right, so I just pulled around over to the cherry bin here because this is for one face cord, 1/3 of a cord of cherry. It's a guy who always gets cherry. He basically just has it for campfires. He usually gets 2 face cords a year, one at a time though, one early and then one later. So good customer, and that's what a lot of my customers get, is they buy 2 to 3 face cords, so 2/3 to a full cord every year. That's the average amount. But a lot of those people buy them one at a time because they have the rack, as I call it, that is 8 feet wide, 4 feet high. They fill it, it holds what we call a face cord. Some of you call it 1/3 of a cord. That's what I sell a lot of. When I look at my customers' order forms from a year, I go through them. 1/3 of the people get 1 face cord a year. 1/3 of the people get 2 to 3 face cords a year. And then 1/3 of the people get either 3, 4, 5, or 6 face cords. So when you average it all out, it averages out to just a little less than a full cord per person a year. It was like 2.7 one year, 2.5 another year. I think one year it was like 2.3. Some were right in there. It just depends on what they get. Now, some people will order a face cord and they think they got all the wood in the world and it's going to last them for, you know, the rest of their life. Then there's other people that will go through that in a week. So there's that. I cannot believe how cold it is out today. It's colder right now than it has been in the last 2 months. I'm going to chuck some wood. So there it is. The cherry is in the chariot and it's ready to go down the road. Now, I'm not going to deliver this for a little while yet because I know the guy's not home yet. He texted me and said that he was out running some errands, and so I'll probably deliver this in a couple hours, but at least I got it loaded, so that's good. Now you notice when I loaded this wood on, I kind of came from this edge and then down in here because everything that was on this edge and down in here is old wood. The stuff over here, I don't know, well, there's some really gray stuff in there. I know that's well over a year old, and the stuff that's in this corner here is like 6 months old. And the cherry that I had, there was a lot of stuff that was barkless that I got. For some logs from Lugger Jason, and so I tried to kind of pick out the ones as I was going in here that had no bark on it because I know they're really dry. I did a moisture test on some of the stuff that was bigger that had bark on it. It was right about 20-21%. I did that like a week or 2 ago, so I know the wood is dry enough, but I still tried to pick out the ones that looked the driest to go to this guy. And now that this stuff is cut and split and in the bin, it was up against the barn for a couple months. And it dried really good there. It was just baking in the sun, so that really dries the wood fast. It's on concrete up against the barn, faces south, so all the wood we've got over there, whenever we process it and dump it up against the barn to be scooped up later when we do like a specialty wood, the cherry, the hickory, once in a while we'll get some locusts or get some stuff that's stuff I don't have a lot of. We'll kind of just pile it over there until we get it all done. Then I'll scoop it up and put it into a bin and put it somewhere. The beech is another kind of wood we don't get a lot of. So we kind of will tend to kind of separate that out. And I get asked all the time, you know, why do you separate your wood? Because there are people that I affectionately call wood snobs. They have to have their kind of wood, and I'm fine with that. I nothing against them. We just call them that because they're particular and they like what they like. Some guys have to have cherry. Some guys have to have oak. Some guys have to have white oak because they smoke meat with it. Some people have to have hickory because that's what they always use for smoking meat. And then there's other people that they don't care that they're using oak for campfire wood. They just like it. That's what they want, and I'm okay with that. It's just a shame as a firewood seller that you're not selling wood to people that realize that all wood burns, number one. Number two, they're going to be using it for a good purpose, because I always feel like, you know, a guy that's getting oak that he's burning in a campfire for his kids to burn marshmallows on, it's like, why? Why not just get mixed hardwood or, you know, a mix of ash and box elder and soft maple? It all burns just fine, and I actually like more flame in my fire, which is why I like to say pine is fine. I like a big roaring flame when I got a campfire going. I don't want it just to smolder, which is what happens when you've got something like hickory or locust, very low flame, slow burning wood, which is great for heating. And then I get people that are heating with wood, you know, that I prefer that they get the better quality wood because they appreciate it more. Whereas some with a campfire is like, they're just, like I say, they're burning marshmallows, or their kids are, and they don't really need that kind of wood. But if that's what they want, they're willing to pay for it, I don't care. I just say that. So we're gonna go deliver this right now. Dump this load. Try not to die when I open this because I'm sure it's going to be an avalanche. It usually is. We're at a pretty steep angle here, so let's see what happens. Oh yeah. I like it when they all jump out. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of nice sized stuff. There we go, wind's picking up, it's getting colder. I just pushed it up a little bit just to fluff it a little here so it's more in a pile. And the next thing we'll be doing with this stuff is splitting it, obviously. So here's all the small limby kind of stuff. A lot of good wood in here though. I actually like this size because you basically split it in half and you're good to go for most of it. The bigger stuff, obviously, there's a lot of good ones in here, and we'll be able to make a lot of good firewood out of this. So I'm thinking this is going to happen. Oops, got the little rain on the lens there. It's been raining out, misting. This will probably take me a day to cut this up and then split it and get it into a bin, and that'll probably happen in a couple days because I'd like to get it done as soon as possible. Got to go get my tractor. I had it in park if it's rolling. Must have popped out of park. It was rolling down the hill here. Looked like it was on a crash course. Let's stop now, so I think we're good. Yeah, it rolled about 3 feet while I was talking to you there. And so that'll happen probably in a couple days. We'll get going on this stuff, so come on back. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene.